Hi there, Bill Hitchcock. Welcome to the program. If things look a little different, no, I'm not getting ready to do a cooking show. No, we're getting ready to do a fishing report. We're going to cover up and down the coast of North Carolina, weather report, sea surface temperatures. I'm on the road right now, so I'm not in my normal location, my studio, where you see the normal stuff and all. But there was a lot of things I want to get out to you because a lot of things are going on along the coast of North Carolina, least of which is the weather. It's been a very interesting weather weekend leading into the weekend. We're going to talk about that, but I want to talk about the fantastic tuna fishing that's been going on primarily in the northern Outer Banks. Once you start going on down to about the mid coastal area of North Carolina, that's where the dolphin or the Mahi activity really picks up. And listen, boys and girls, the speckled trout and the flounder activity, people can't get away from the flounder particularly. We've been talking about that for a long time. And a lot of folks who may be targeting speckled trout, they're just letting them go. And don't forget, July 1st is when the season opens back up for speckled trout here in North Carolina. We got king mackerels being caught off of the piers. Wonder what location that's at. And as I mentioned, the weather, it's very iffy. We'll talk about that towards the end. But right now I want to throw up these beach water temperatures. Take a look at this. Duck, North Carolina at 68.9 degrees. But when you just go, you know, we've been highlighting this forever too. Go on down to Oregon Inlet, look at that. It's 78.3 degrees. At the Coast Guard Station at Hatteras, it's the quote-unquote warmest at 79 degrees. Duke Marine Lab at Pivers Island, which is literally a baseball throw away from the Beaufort waterfront. They're at 77.5 degrees, and Wrightsville Beach at 77 degrees. Now let's get on into the fishing report. Jeanette's Pier and Nag's Head Pier are pretty much reporting the same thing. Bluefish and Spanish mackerel. Some pompano being caught. Jeanette's Pier reports also beach water temperatures there 65 degrees. Now with all this rain and water and stuff, these beach water temperatures, don't be surprised if they start varying for a few days, but they will rectify themselves and return back to how they have been going. I want to show you this, well, highlight something, that picture of a bluefish which was caught at Jeanette's Pier. Did you notice the scarring on it? Bluefish are like piranha. They will attack each other. When you've got one on, say, with a gotcha plug and you're on a pier, watch as you're reeling it in. It's quite common to see other bluefish coming up and hitting it. So I believe those scars that you're seeing on that bluefish, which was caught at Jeanette's Pier, are scars from the other bluefish going, oh boy, free lunch. Let's take a look. All right, rigged up charters out of Nag's Head. Tuna. Look at all those tuna fish. Now, you also may recall, it was about a month or maybe even 2 months ago, I gave a little warning that this time of year the fishing report starts getting boring. Not bad, just boring. You'll start hearing tuna dolphin wahoo, tuna dolphin wahoo, tuna dolphin wahoo. And it's a fantastic report, but it doesn't vary, so it sounds boring. The tuna fishing activity out in the Outer Banks, the northern Outer Banks area, has been ballistic now for couple of weeks. Blackfin tuna mixed in there. So we're just going to use rigged up charters as representative of the boats out of that area. Now, Outcast fishing charters out of Wanchese, they say the past few days have been fun. They've been catching bluefish in the 7 to 11 pound range on topwater trout rigs. They're, in essence, I don't know if they're trout fishing, but they're acting like they, well, they're doing that technique or tactic of trout fishing to catch these bluefish. They say also slot drum and over slot drum, Spanish mackerel, black sea bass, triggerfish, and while they're island hopping and having a bunch of laughs. I always love hearing that. It's called recreational fishing, so we're to recreate and have fun doing it. Now, the Oregon Inlet Fishing Center, they say our offshore guys have been reaching limits of yellowfin tuna and bringing in citation big eye tuna. Again, from that area, Nag's Head, Wanchese, Oregon Inlet, this is where we're hearing about all of the, or the majority of the yellowfin tuna activity happening. They also say the nearshore and inshore boats are bringing in a great mix of sea bass, triggerfish, big blues, Spanish mackerel, bonita, and drum, along with catch and release speckled trout. So I think people are kind of loosening up on the concept of, or just maybe just excited that in a few weeks the season will open. Now we've got a viewer, Jeff Harding. He was fishing down in Pamlico Sound behind Hatteras. He says, I caught a good speck this morning, blues and reds on topwater bite, and he was using an 808 mirror lure. That seems to be what's working for him. He said all the fish were released. Now, Hatteras Island, Rodanthe Pier, 71 degrees, which is in between that duck area that we were showing in Jeanette's Pier and down into Hatteras. They say sea mullet and gray trout. Frank and Franz in Avon are reporting bluefish here in Avon, the Point, Spanish and blues. The Sound side is producing blues and poppy drum. That's something else we started hearing about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, about bluefish, big bluefish, as we reported on earlier in the Sound side. Lots of folks are having, in the Pamlico Sound, lots of folks are having a lot of fun catching a lot of bluefish and puppy drum behind Hatteras Island and behind Ocracoke. Now, let's see, red drum bait and tackle in Buxton. Mullet man through adverse conditions. This is actually from a couple of days ago. So the pompano that he's holding there was 3 pounds and 6 ounces. Also coolers full of sea mullet. Again, the big pompano are being caught, well, from Carteret County up north, but we're hearing the most like from Ocracoke and Hatteras Island, pompano weighing in just under 6 pounds. So good job for you guys. Good time sport fishing. Said we had a southeast wind and sloppy conditions, but the guys held in there tough and had a beautiful catch of nice dolphin. This is where we start hearing about the dolphin. Now we're transitioning out of that yellowfin tuna catches. Now we're going into the dolphin catches. Done deal sport fishing out of Teach's Lair. Good fishing continues. Mahi, here we go, dolphin and tuna. Now Ocracoke. I love it when people have fun when they go fishing. Jack Woody of Charleston, South Carolina caught a very nice 31.5-inch red drum and a monster flounder on the surf side of Ocracoke Island yesterday. I love how he's posing there with the little flounder. Just have fun with it. Just have fun. He said both safely released. They're also catching Spanish mackerel, bluefish, and some sharks out of the surf in Ocracoke. Now the charter boat fish Ocracoke, good dolphin fishing right now. There we go again. Limits of dolphin for our charters. Bottom fishing added triggerfish and beeliners, groupers to the coolers. Now I want you to take a look at the from Fish Ocracoke, the picture again. I'll put that back up. See those two dolphins in forefront of the picture? You see the two different colors? That is something that is quite amazing. Dolphin, Mahi, when they get excited, will change colors. When you're reeling in a Mahi, it's quite common to see them change from orange, right? Yellow, blue, and agua, and all sorts of different colors, all the way into the box. So you can see those two dolphin, after they deceased, are no more, went to fish heaven, that those were the colors that they were when they passed on. All right, the central area, chasing tails, here we go again. Stephen Mills with a monster bull dolphin weighing 43 1/3 pounds. Congratulations. Now, speaking of having fun, I like the guys at Emerald Isle Adventures. They say midday amberjack smackdown. Look at all those AJs. And got a little bit of a video we want to show you from that trip. All right, in the south, a viewer, this is Chris Wren with the boat Red Dawn. Myself and my new high school graduate son, Isaac Wren, enjoyed a great day today fishing near New River Inlet, targeting drum, but kept catching flounder. The largest one was over 21 inches. We heard about this down in Ocean Isle last week. Guys were sheep's head fishing and couldn't get away from the what? The flounder. So, the flounder there. I didn't say that. Johnny Mercer's Pier, Peter Louie with a 2.9 pound Spanish, and Dave Hanna visiting from Missouri with a 2 1/4 pound Spanish mackerel. Curie Beach Pier, Tony Hay with a 35-pound king mackerel. Congratulations, Tony. We have a viewer who sent in, his name is Mark Dollar, from the Seaview Pier in Topsail. He said, able to land this 37.9 pound king on Wednesday, June 4th. I see some smoked fish dip on the horizon. man after my heart. Catch and releasing the grease, so to speak. Yeah, if I can't eat it, I don't want to fish for it. He also made an observation. Mark made an observation out at Seaview Pier. He said bluefish in the pound, pound and a half range on diamond jigs with gold hooks and gotcha plugs. Some scattered but nice pompano. Have seen a few tarpon cruising around. Remember last week we had a tarpon landed for, oh lordy me, one of the piers down there, and I just went blank on which one it was. Guesstimated to be about 150 pounds. Here we go again, a viewer, the Vonda K out of Carolina Beach, Allison, who's been very good about sending in pictures and video. She said, we had the fish battle royale, Army versus the Marines. Go Marines. The Marines started off strong with a nice cobia, 20 pounds. Army quickly caught up with a bigger cobia weighing 24 pounds. Marines brought in a huge jack. Marines took home the trophy. Everybody was a winner and soon to be having a fish fry for dinner. They caught a bunch of fish. I was not aware of what about this tournament or the Marines and the Army going fishing together, but congratulations. Thank you for taking them on out. Another viewer submission, Patrick. I really like this one. From Ocean Isle. He says, my son caught 12 to 13 inch speckled trout on fresh shrimp at Ocean Isle on the north end. He said, chicken and pompano rig. I love his son doing the ta-da. Again, you gotta have fun with it. What I failed to make mention on top of the show, there is one interesting bit of news we need to get out to you. Don Redding wrote to me. He says, can you summarize this on your show? And what he was talking about, it's called the Interstate Wildlife Violator Compact Act. And that's a mouthful. The Division of Marine Fisheries just sent out a press release on this a couple of days ago. Let me read from that press release, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Starting July 1st, the Division of Marine Fisheries will implement the Interstate Wildlife Violator Compact Act. The act provides a reciprocal recognition of license suspensions with participating states. Hang on here. It allows the division to hold wildlife violators accountable and treat them the same regardless of their state residency. The Interstate Wildlife Violator Compact establishes a process whereby wildlife law violations conducted by a non-resident while in a member state may be handled as if the person were a resident in the state where the violation took place. Now, in short, there's a consortium, I don't think it's all 50 states yet, and I just got this and I'm going to get more information, but member states here in the United States that if somebody is from, let's just use North Carolina, somebody from out of state got their fishing license suspended, let's say Virginia, they're in Virginia and they screwed up somehow and they had their fishing license suspended. Well, they can't get one in North Carolina. It could be New Jersey, it could be Florida, it could be South Carolina, so it's reciprocal. So if, say, somebody here in North Carolina lost their license, well, you ain't fishing in one of the member states. The same thing it also applies in terms of violations that it used to be evidently that with somebody from out of state, when there was some infraction, they were treated differently than a resident was treated with that violation. Not anymore. Basically, if you're going to screw up, it doesn't matter which state you're in. Everybody's in agreement with each other. So that's what it's about. I'll get more information about that. I did want to get this out to you as soon as possible. This goes into effect, again, July 1st. The Division of Marine Fisheries says it's going to be implemented, the Interstate Wildlife Violator Compact Act. So long story short, if you haven't made any violations or if you still got your license, you don't have anything to worry about. But if you're a violator, if you got your license suspended, then you have something to worry about if you want to go fish anywhere, because you won't be able to. So there's that. The last thing I want to talk about weather. Again, this is Saturday when we're doing this. We've had storms go up and down the coast of North Carolina. I'm off the coast right now, and we got some big old storms as well. Depending on where you are, it looks like the Outer Banks area is going to have a lesser chance of rain for Saturday and Sunday, but a little bit more wind than anywhere else, gusts to 20 to 25. Once you hit the Crystal Coast area, working on down south, your chance of rain depends if it's during the daytime, nighttime, or the next day. They can be anywhere from 40, 60, 70, up to 80% chance of rain. The warmer temperatures will be down in the Cape Fear area. The lesser winds will be down in the Cape Fear area. The Crystal Coast area will have kind of a combination of both. But again, it's the coast of North Carolina. I don't care what the weather forecast says. Keep an eye to the sky, because things change rapidly. And I will leave you with this. I mean, a storm can move up the coastline, and they normally come out of the southern area. A storm can be moving 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. So they can be very brief, particularly during the summertime. They can be 10, 15, 5 minutes in length because they're moving so fast. So please keep an eye to the sky. If there's thunderbolts and lightning, get your butt out of that area into some shelter. All right. I'm Bill Hitchcock. That's all the time that we have for today. If you have pictures, video, fishing report information, email me, billhitchcock@mail.com, billhitchcock@mail.com, and we will put it on the air. Who qualifies for it? Anybody. If you're a charter boat, if you're a head boat, if you're a bait and tackle shop, if you're a pier, if you're just a person, an experienced fisherman of 50 years, if you've never been before in your life, send them on in. Also looking for folks that are going crabbing. If you got some pictures, video going crabbing. And then I had some other person, because this came up last week, they said, well, what about shrimping? Well, okay, fine. If you go shrimping, throwing a cast net, what have you, take pictures, whatever you want to do. There's really no limit to it. I'm opening the door to everybody, so please send that stuff on in. All right. Once again, that's a mouthful. I am not doing a cooking show, I promise you. This is in a location off the coast, far, far away. Next time you see me, you'll see me where you're in the studio. I'm Bill Hitchcock. Until next time, see ya.